Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. My name is Cassina McClain, as most of you know. Today we're going to start with a little survey. By a show of hands, how many of you have been subject to credit verification before? That's good. How many of you have credit cards from department stores and or from major banks? How many of you have loans for mortgages or car loans or student loans, things like that? And how many of you have very high interest credit cards? Okay, and lastly, how many of you have ever been denied credit before and had to deal with the embarrassment associated with that? Thank you. So as you can see, many of us have the same credit issues in common. We all have credit cards, we all have loans, we've all been subject to high interest rates, and in some cases the embarrassment that comes with being denied credit for something we felt we wanted or needed. So I'm going to tell you a little story about myself. When I was about 18, 19 years old, my first year of college, I went to Fairleigh-Dickinson University. And what Fairleigh-Dickinson University used to do, they would let credit card companies come to our student union building and set up shop and solicit credit cards to students. In exchange for a credit card application, you can get a Frisbee, a t-shirt, or a keychain or something to that effect. I, like many other students at 18 years old, was not responsible. I ended up with 10 credit cards and thousands of dollars a day. I would go shopping with my friends in charge of hundreds of dollars with no real means to pay the bills. And I didn't really care. As I got older, I was repeatedly harassed by these companies wanting their money, and it got to a point where my credit had hit rock bottom. It didn't really affect me until I went to purchase my first car when I was in my mid-20s. And I remember the Ford dealership telling me that I had the worst credit ever. And I felt, the worst credit ever? Me? But I ended up getting a very inexpensive car, but my interest rate was 16.9%. After that, I decided I was going to turn my credit history around. I was going to turn it around. I did some research and I found ways to come out of the slump to improve my credit. Since then, I'm now a desired candidate for credit. I can get very great interest rates, and I've been this way for the past 18 years. So now we've identified our similarities. Let's go on and understand more about credit. We're going to talk about credit scores, your credit profile. We're going to discuss your FICO scores and the significance of it. We're going to also talk about the 3 major credit reporting agencies. And we're going to talk about the importance of credit and how to maintain and achieve good credit. So your credit score is used to determine your credit worthiness. In multiple ways, lenders review your credit history to determine potential clients to extend credit to. It helps them to decide what interest rates to give you too. Technically, if you have a better credit score, you can most likely receive a lower interest rate for items that you want to purchase. Also, you can experience better rates, and you have increased buying power. Your credit score is reviewed by various agencies. And in an article in USA.gov, an article titled Credit Report and Scores, some of the common ways your credit is requested for review is from government agencies. They review your credit when you apply for a student loan. Also, major banks, they review your credit when you're applying for a loan for a mortgage, a car, or a personal loan, or even for a business loan. Okay? Housing management companies will review your credit when you want to apply for an apartment. Also, utility companies, when you're trying to get services like PSE&G, they will review your credit, as well as cell phone providers like Sprint and AT&T. They will review your credit, as well as internet and cable providers like Comcast and Verizon. They will also review your credit. Employers will review your credit when they want to determine if they want to offer you a job or not. I remember I was denied a job with Howard Savings Banks years ago because I had bad credit, and they explained to me that the significance of my credit score made me a high-risk employee, and they felt that they could not hire me because the potential to steal was great for me because I was in debt. So after discussing the many ways credit scores and credit histories are reviewed, let us now discuss FICO scores, its history, and its significance. In an article on eHow.com entitled "How Did Credit Scoring Come About?", reporter John Hewitt advised that FICO stands for Fair Isaac Corporation. Founded by Bill Fair and Earl Isaac in 1956. Their company was founded to provide solutions to business by using mathematics and computer technology. The Fair Isaac Corporation created credit scoring in 1958. The FICO scoring program provides a quick, data-driven method for determining creditworthiness of an individual or corporation. It's used to predict a consumer's behavior and if they would be a great candidate for an extension of credit. So we've discussed FICO scores and its origin. Now we will discuss your credit report and credit reporting agencies. There are many companies that can obtain a consumer's credit report and your credit profile. The three main credit reporting agencies, also called CRAs, is TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. These companies collect info and combine it into a report and sell it to people who need to request your credit history to offer you services. The credit report will provide information such as where you live, where you work, and the history of your bill payments. They will also advise if you've ever filed for bankruptcy, if you've ever been sued, and if you've ever been arrested. So everyone should request a copy of their credit report. And when you are requesting a copy of your credit report, you want to provide your name, your address, and if you've moved in the last 2 years, you want to provide your previous address. Also, you want to give your social security number, your date of birth, and for security reasons, they may require you to provide some personal information that only you would know. So while having your credit report is a step in the right direction, it is also beneficial to know how your credit score is derived, which I will discuss next. Credit scores are weighed by different factors and percentages. The Fair Isaac system calculates credit using a unique formula. %35 is based off of payment history. 30% is based off of amounts owed. 15% is based off of length of credit history. 10% is based off of types of credit used, and the other 10% is based off of new credit. Excuse me while I put this. FICO scores range from poor to exceptional or bad to excellent. It advises the likelihood of someone not paying as agreed for future credit obligations. Numerically, FICO scores range from 300 to 850. The higher the scores imply lower risk, the lower scores implies higher risk. Which brings us to my next chart. Excellent credit ranges from 750 or more. Good credit ranges from 700 to 749. Fair credit ranges from 650 to 699. Poor credit ranges from 600 to 649. And bad credit is below 600. When I first started out, I was in bad credit after all the credit cards I accumulated in college. Now I'm at excellent credit. My last score was at 784, which was a week ago. Finally, we will discuss ways to improve and maintain desirable credit score. When I was working to improve my score, it took me about 4 years. First thing you want to do is obtain a copy of your credit report. That's the first thing. And then you want to dispute any mistakes or any discrepancies. You also may need to provide some written documentation to someone to prove that you have paid a debt or it's been satisfied. Also, if you have an old debt that you want to settle, you can probably set up a payment plan or settle the account and pay just a portion of it. Many creditors will work with you and maybe even provide a situation where you can pay a portion of the bill and they will write the remaining balance off. You also can seek help with debt consolidation agencies and or credit card counseling agencies, which are all willing to help you. Another thing you should know about is the statute of limitations for the state that you live in. For the state of New Jersey, the statute of limitations for debt collection is 6 years. So if you have a debt that has not been acted on in 6 years, if the company has not tried to reach out to you or gain any type of payment, that credit can be waived and moved off your credit report. You should not be obligated to pay. So the next step to maintaining a desirable score is, first thing you probably want to do is want to pay your bills on time. You also want to pay as much as you can. If by chance you need to pay your bill late, many credit card companies will waive, for a one-time courtesy, will waive a late fee every 12 months. You also want to keep your debt low. And if you pay off a credit card, you want to keep that account open because a zero balance will help boost your credit score. I would suggest never co-signing for a loan or a credit card for someone unless you really know them, because when you do that, that loan or that credit card becomes your responsibility. Also, be cautious when using your credit cards to purchase expensive things as favors for friends or family or people you know. Even though they may they may promise to pay you back, in the end, you are still responsible for that bill and that debt. So after all we've discussed today, I hope you have a better understanding of the importance and the significance of FICO credit scores. As discussed, FICO stands for Fair Isaac Corporation, founded by Bill Fair and Earl Isaac in 1956. I shared how credit is calculated, the values and percentages used in determining scores. I discussed the 3 different credit reporting agencies, also called CRAs. I provided ways to improve and achieve and maintain a desirable credit score. So as Americans, our core values is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society where we are constantly bombarded with companies offering and requesting us to buy items. They want to sell us things. They have deals and steals, one-time opportunities, and we can use credit to purchase almost anything. What we should do, though, we should be responsible and enjoy credit. We should be able to use it wisely. And it's a pleasure. I feel it's a pleasure to be accepted to purchase the things that you want to purchase when you want them, and whether it be a loan for a home or car, a credit card, if you want to get an apartment for housing, a job. It feels good to be accepted for these things and not let credit stand in the way and have to deal with the embarrassment of being denied services that you need. So it's also a great feeling when companies can compete for your business, which is what I'm dealing with now with Wells Fargo and Quicken Loans. So with all these reasons I've provided, I hope you will take my advice seriously, and remember, I want all of us to be financially free and happy with the ability to live our best lives as credit-worthy American citizens. Thank you. I have some pamphlets and some printouts for you all to take with you. Thank you.
somebody